It is Wednesday, 8:23. We're having a special Public Safety Commission meeting starting at 6 p.m., second floor, City Hall conference room. We'll call this meeting to order. And we will take an attendance. Commissioner McMahon.
Here.
Commissioner Illinois.
Here.
Commissioner Jarvis.
Here.
Commissioner Moscaratolo is here. We have a quorum. I'll read the opening statements. This meeting is being recorded by the Public Safety Commission. If anyone other than the city or the commission is recording this meeting, you must notify the chair at this time. Is anybody recording the meeting at this time other than the commission? As I always do. Bear with me. Okay. All right, I don't think anybody else is at this point. All right, no person shall address the meeting of the public body without permission of the chair, and all persons shall, at the request of the chair, be silent. No person shall disrupt the proceedings of the meeting of a public body. If after clear warning of the chair, the person continues to disrupt the proceedings, the chair may order a person to withdraw from the meeting, and if the person does not withdraw, the chair may authorize a constable or officer to remove the person from the meeting. Great. We will start the meeting. I do want to ask Amy if we could if she could make a motion. We have to approve the minutes for June. We're the only two left that were here. Rick's not here anymore. So if I can get a motion, and I'll second it.
So moved.
And I will second it. And we're here. We want to approve the June meeting minutes. Do you want to look at them real quick, or you good to go?
No, I'm good.
I sent them out to you, and I think you probably reviewed them.
Yeah.
All right, no discussion? All right, let's vote. You approve the meeting minutes? Aye, approved. Great, thank you. We can move on. Sorry I couldn't include the other commissions.
At least we're together over here.
Exactly. Stay out of our business.
I will.
All right. We will move on. Is there any public comment at this time? Would anybody like to make public comments? I don't think there's anybody on Zoom that wants to make public comments. So we will move on. Okay. We have one item on the agenda. It's the fire department to introduce new hire candidates and to make approvals to the mayor. So I will hand it over to our chief.
Okay, so first, thank you all for last minute doing this. I apologize. We had a firefighter announce his resignation to move on to another department 2 weeks ago. So we were in the process of hiring one through our budget process. But when we got the announcement that he was leaving, I have a third firefighter that's on long-term leave right now. So it was imperative that we try to get our staffing back as quick as we could. So we expedited the process. In addition, the week that he announced that he was resigning from the department, I lost a week because I ended up going down with COVID after not having it forever. I've never had COVID, and I go to a concert and I come back and I got COVID. So got 2 T-shirts and COVID. So it was a good concert. So my apologies again to all the commissioners for having this be so quickly, and I appreciate the accommodations, but this is not typically how we try to do business when it comes to hiring people. So with that said, I am pleased to announce that we had our process. Now our process goes like this. So we first put out, we work with HR and we identify the positions that we need to fill, get approval for filling them. Then we put out a notice to the firefighters. It's open to all ranks and all levels of anybody that wants to participate in the hiring process. We get the list of names. We usually get about 10 to 12 firefighters and captains and lieutenants that want to do it. And then we take those names and we divide the names up into sections. So the first section is application reviews, and they have a grading sheet. So 3 or 4 will grade and say, okay, this is from grading level from the applications. These are the ones that we recommend pushing forward. We weed out a couple at that point. And then it goes to an interview process, and the interview process is with 2 captains and a lieutenant and a firefighter. And they're different. So the guys that were part of the first process aren't part of the second process. So they do the interviews and they grade it and they rank it the way that they see it. And then none of the scores are shared. They're not released. So what the applications, the next part is not shared with anybody. So then the third part is a practical part, which we do a EMS evolution, a fire evolution, a HR evolution, and those are graded. And those are graded with not only our internal people, but we also have other fire chiefs that participate in that process, and that's graded independent. And then those grades come together and get an overall score. There were 4 that made it through the final process. I decided to interview all 4. I did have the list, but I wanted to have an interview, so I interviewed the 4 candidates, and I am pleased to be here and say that I'm recommending 2 gentlemen for appointment to the Greenfield Permanent Fire Department. The first one, and it's not order of how we're hiring, it just happens to be the first letter I have in my hand, is Dear Public Safety Commission members, please accept this letter of recommendation to hire Adam Martin as a full-time firefighter with the City of Greenfield Fire Department. Adam Martin has many years of previous experience, including 12 years as a full-time firefighter, paramedic with Northampton Fire. Adam would make a great addition to the Greenfield Fire Department, and I am pleased to make this recommendation. Sincerely, Robert Strand, Fire Chief. So I will ask Adam, come on up.
How you doing? Good, Adam. Good. All right, do you want to just give us a brief intro of yourself and your, doesn't have to be a novel, your expectations and just welcoming you to the city.
So my name is Adam Martin. I moved to Greenfield about 10 years ago. I'm originally from Vermont. Is where I started my firefighting journey. I was a volunteer up there. I turned 16 and then went to the academy up there when I was 18. Decided that this is really what I wanted to pursue. So I went to EMT school, and then I went to Anna Maria College out in Paxton, and I got my bachelor's in fire science. I was there. I also got I got a minor in criminal justice. I worked for 2 ambulance companies while I was out there and for the Paxton Fire Department. When I graduated, I got a job on Belchtown Fire where I worked for 2 years full time. And while I was there, I also went to GCC, the paramedic school, to get my paramedic. Upon completing that, I've been with Northampton now. This is my 10th year there as a firefighter paramedic. I applied to Greenfield now instead of before because I was a brand new paramedic. I wanted to get experience. Started teaching at GCC for the paramedic school as well. I've lived here for 10 years. This is, I consider this my community now. I like to come up here and see what I can do for the city if they give me the opportunity to. That's kind of who I am, where I came from.
Excellent. Excellent.
Do you have any questions?
I have a story for you.
All right.
So in 1990, I took over the Criminal Justice Department at Anna Maria. Huge department, height of the Quinn Bill, like 400 officers across the state. I was in a condominium, living in a new condo, and a member of the Worcester Fire Department showed up, and he was doing some sort of inspection that I had to have done. And we started talking about the program, and he said, nobody does anything about us. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, fire science is an important thing for firefighters to be able to study. So I went back to the college. I had a meeting with the president. The fire science program was born. So welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I didn't expect to see you here 30 years later.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Good. Any other questions?
I mean, might we count this as a feather in our cap that you would want to be in Greenfield and not Northampton?
I think I'd be a big asset up here, so I would agree with that. I don't want to be too selfish, but.
Well, you live here in Greenfield, right?
Yep. This is my 10th year living here. So we moved here. My wife's originally from the Foxborough area. We met at college. So trying to figure out where we wanted to settle. She got a job up in Brattleboro and I got a job in Northampton. So let's check out Greenfield. And 10 years later, we're still here.
Well, I appreciate that you do things outside the department to improve the profession for other people. So that's great. Continue that.
Thank you.
Right. Ed?
Always scared. I'm going to sit right next to
can
him
just
so I
speak
can
up.
poke him.
Yeah,
Go ahead, hurry up.
No, I just want to say welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Glad that we stole you from Northampton. It sounds like we stole one of their qualified individuals. And our first paramedic, if I can remember right,
We have
only have a
medic in
couple-
training, but
medic in training. We have a couple eyes, I think, right? Or not intermediate, what they're called now.
we got
Whatever they decided to
4 or 5 advanced.
4 or 5 now. Okay, there's only 2 when I was there, so I was one of the 2 lonely non-EMTs
Yeah.
when I left. But welcome aboard. I'm glad to steal you from Northampton and Steve Hall and all those guys. Tough luck on those guys. Anyway, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve Adam Martin to the mayor for the full-time position as firefighter.
Second,
Okay.
you can have it. You can give it to the fire guy.
Okay. Let's take an individual vote. Commissioner Jarvis,
Approved. Yes.
Benoit,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
and David. I approve.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is, Maria Burge will be on public safety next month.
So she will. She's allowed to observe.
So, next, I'll read the letter and then I'll have a couple things to say about Michael. Dear Public Safety Commission members, please accept this order of recommendation to hire Michael Magnuson as a full-time firefighter with the City of Greenfield Fire Department. Michael has previous experience, including 3 years in Northfield Call Force. Michael would make a great addition to the Greenfield Fire Department. I'm pleased to make this recommendation. Michael comes with some other background, EMS background, as well as fire background. I will tell you, we had a process, the same process a year ago, a little over a year ago. And Michael went through the process and he was the next guy on the line, but didn't quite make it over the other 2 that we hired because he was missing a couple check boxes that we were looking for. One of them being firefighter 1, 2 board certified and a little bit of ambulance experience. He went to that interview and came out and decided that he was going to be aggressive and go get it. And he got his firefighter 1, 2, and he got board certified on that. He also started working for AMR and doing his 9/11 trips, and also has been offered other firefighting jobs. So I am pleased to say that we were able to convince him to stay with us, and he's going to be a huge asset. And I will ask Michael to come on up.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks, sir.
Michael is also a National Guard.
I did 8 years with the National Guard before this.
Yep. With combat experience. So hiring vets is important to us as well. So
Can you, what, your last name?
Magnuson.
Magnuson? Okay, thank you.
So my name's Michael Magnuson, and that kind of, I guess, feeds a little bit into the story behind me. When I was a little over 18, I signed up, joined the Guard. Just kind of didn't know what direction I was going with life. Wanted to help my community. It seemed like the best fit for me. Did just over 8 years, including 3 combat tours, twice to Iraq, once to Afghanistan. From there, I got out of the military and was kind of lost again. Spent a few years working in factories, not really finding, that same rewarding career, filling boxes. And I moved candles for Yankee Candle. I worked for Hardig back before Pelican bought them out. I worked for Yankee Hill when they were in Florence, kind of bounced around a bit and couldn't quite scratch that itch, I guess you could say, for helping my community. My brother-in-law recommended I apply to Medcare at the time as a dispatcher. I worked there for between 4 and 5 years before I had to leave. It was between my wife and I. She's working at the hospital, and we needed one parent to be a stay-at-home parent. And we kind of went back and forth until we decided that it made a little more sense for me because dispatching wasn't quite what I wanted to do, but getting out of that office was a lot harder done than said. So I spent just over a year as a stay-at-home dad, which I don't think stay-at-home parents get enough credit. And then after that, I went back to work at the hospital while I got my EMT. Began working for AMR down in Springfield just to try to get a bit more experience, and they were more than happy to comply with as much experience as I wanted. And then from shortly before EMT, I started with Northfield Fire. One of the guys I grew up with has been on their department at the time. I think it had been about 5 years. He recommended I check it out because he knew the kind of community drive, and I almost instantly fell in love with the fire service and just everything that they do. And I got my EMT to help further my career. From there, I did apply to Greenfield and unfortunately came up third when they were hiring two. And as the chief said, a big part of that was not having my fire 1 and 2. So from there, I worked with my chief in Northfield, who approved me to go to the Springfield Academy, where I graduated top of my class, and have been just pushing ever since.
Any questions, comments?
Comments? Glad to
Start
have
with
you aboard.
Commissioner
You get to
Jarvis.
go
I'll
first,
start
huh?
with you.
Yeah, so you won't forget me, huh? Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. I have to say that I am so pleased that we are out of the cumbersome civil service role, that this makes it so much streamlined and faster, and we're getting the same quality candidates that we did through civil service, or somewhat better sometimes. So I will say that. And I commend you for going on your own and getting firefighter 1 and 2 and your paramedic, your EMT. Paramedic will be next.
Well, currently enrolled for the fall paramedic program.
So I'm ecstatic to have you. It sounds like you're a go-getter. I too came from Hardwick Industry to Greenfield Fire, and I worked my way up through as a firefighter captain, deputy chief. So there you go. There's your roadmap for you. Hardwick's firefighter captain. And by the time you get to be deputy chief, hopefully we have the deputy chief's position back and you can step into that. Before Bob retires, we're gonna try to get the deputy chief's position back.
Get that in writing from him before you leave.
He already knows that I'm dedicated to that, because I know what an asset it is to have a right-hand person that can help you out immensely in administrative issues that you occur. So anyways, welcome aboard.
Thanks.
You have my vote of confidence for you.
Same thing here. I just want to say thanks for sharing the stories. I think those things are important to hear. How we balance families, because that's the biggest thing that we do. But we also have to earn a living. And so I use the term around my household, pushing through it. And you did that. And we're happy to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You had me at stay-home dad, but you're also incredibly qualified. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I do appreciate this, you not getting offered a job and knowing what you needed to someday come back. That goes a long way. So I make a recommendation, I'd like to make a recommendation to the mayor that Mike Magnuson is hired as one of the Greenfield firefighters. Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a vote. Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Lanoy,
Yes.
Commissioner McMahon.
Yes.
Commissioner Moscaratolo says yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Sir.
Welcome aboard.
Sir.
You don't have to stick around if you want. I know you got families to get home to.
Sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you in the streets.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Now the work begins.
Chief, do you have anything else you need to review with us?
I just want to give you, since we'll meet next month, I just want to give you an update on a couple incidents. We had a fire on Maple Ave, pretty involved chimney fire. Somebody driving by reported smoke showing from the building. Guys got there, the attic was going pretty good. They got into it, knocked it down quick, and didn't really hear much of it because they did a good job. But it was, proud of them. They did a good job, and it's what they do. So, and then it's just been steady work since then. So lots going on. The new firehouse, the interior walls, some of them have sheetrock up on them. Most of the electrical is what are they called? Stubbed in. Most of the plumbing is stubbed in. Roughed in. Thank you. That's the word. Most of the framing is up for the walls, the brick exterior. A lot of that is done. So they're starting to paint the apparatus floor walls. There's a lot going on. So we're cranking along. With that said, I did give an update to City Council. We are not going to have our switch gear in on time, and we're not going to have our chillers in on time, which means that the air conditioning is not going to be turned on right away, which in January is okay. But because we're not going to have the switch gear, we had to get below 800 amps of usage within the building, which means that when we move in, there's the potential that we're not going to be able to use all the electrical components as designed. So for example, we sat down and we've been meeting for a couple of weeks now about, okay, what do you need? What do you have to have? And then, what can we do away with? And so we were able to get us below 800 amps by bagging the AV chargers for the cars out front. Mm-hmm. We have, I think there's 5 or 6 showers. We're only going to be able to use 2 of them. We'll shut one of the hot water heaters down. We're going to shut the hood to the kitchen off, but we can't have the kitchen if we don't have the hood. So we were able to work that in, but the heater in the vent system will not be active. Our gear washers, we have 2 gear washers. We can only use one of those at a time. Our CBA filling station, we can use, but we can't be using the kitchen hood and things like, so we have a whole list of stuff that we're going to be to get us, because at the end of the day, we don't want to go back to City Council and ask for more money because we're delayed in construction, even though it's not our fault. I have said publicly to public safety and to the City Council that, we don't want to go back unless we have to. And we're going to do everything we can as a department to adapt and overcome and deal with the situation before we get to the point where we have to say, hey, listen, because once we get into January, February, I forget which month it is, every month past that's $50,000 a month.
For the
temporary.
Temporary, yeah. So you're going to run off a generator?
No. Nope.
Just get under the amperage.
Just get under the amperage so they could install a temporary service type situation.
The heat on the apparatus floor may be run off a generator.
Okay.
But it will not be the new generator. They asked about that, and I'm not going to put 2 months of 24-hour service on a brand new generator.
Exactly.
Because the new generator that we have, the whole building's electric, right?
That's the issue. Your whole building's electric.
Yeah, and so the new generator is going to be huge. We're not going to put that much wear on it for 2 or 3 months. So, and the heat that it will be heating for the apparatus bay is all the radiant 4 heat. So it shouldn't be.
And what's the estimated delivery of the switchgear?
March. Which is good because I've talked to projects. I know a fire station down east that's building their switchgear 36 months out.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're a couple months.
Ours kept on getting pushed every month. So let me ask you, this is a CT cabinet, as you're referring to as your switchgear, your CT cabinet, your power comes in?
The switchgear is the cabinet that
It's a
breaks
CT cabinet,
all the
right.
electricity to the panel.
I was just, there's different terminology out there, so.
But it's also, it also connects to the generator switch.
Yeah.
Right, it connects, yeah, it all connects together. I get that because we went through that.
Yeah.
Our CT cabinet, what we did, and I don't know if you guys looked into it, was getting a remanufactured one that went through UL. You did, not available, okay.
I think that's why we're below 800.
Okay, because that's what we did. We
Yeah.
got a reconditioned one that got approved by Eversource and UL and stuff like that. So we were able to get our 1200 amp service through that.
Yeah.
And just if you want to know the size of the generators to do this, it's about the size of this room. Because ours is sitting on a pad right now.
Yeah, generator was delayed, but we should see that in November.
Oh, ours sat in Brazil for
Yeah.
4 months waiting to get through customs. I don't know what you're going to smuggle in a generator, but.
Yeah, so there's gonna be challenges with it, but we're hoping that we're gonna be right on time, so.
Wow.
Hey, there we go.
Again.
Look at that. I know how that happened.
Just warmed up.
Yeah, so that'll be good. There's a lot of work going on. I encourage anybody that wants to take a walk through, just text my phone, and if I'm available, I'll meet you there.
We should, as Public Safety Commission, go down and take a look at it. Yeah.
It's interesting when you see the bare bones of it right now, but that's, another couple weeks, the sheetrock's gonna be up all over, so.
That's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Excellent.
And pretty soon, the rest of the building should be buttoned up. They were cinder blocks, I guess, are difficult to get. So they finally got the order of cinder blocks to finish the building. The brick was 3 weeks delayed, but Fernandez is the company, and they're putting a small army on it to catch up, so.
And you lucked out with the weather over the
Yeah.
last year, so.
Yeah.
They made,
Winter was good.
yeah, they made a good timing, so that was.
Moving could suck for us being in January, but we're gonna do it.
Anything else?
No, one other thing that goes with the building is I need to go to planning this month because I have authorized, if I can get it approved, which I don't think I can get it approved, but we are looking at an electronic signboard that will sit out in front of the firehouse that gives safety messages, road closure messages, any message that we want to do. But the zoning planning, one of the two, does not permit these type of signs in the downtown area. So there's supposed to be a meeting on, I think, the 7th where they're talking about signs, and I'm going to be bringing a request to include, if at all possible, this, because it really would be something for somebody to come up the hill and, see like here's the town meetings for the day, or the city council is meeting, or whatever message.
That's just a downtown code?
I think it's citywide. GCC put theirs up. And I think
State
that-
property.
What about the high school?
It took a process to get through planning.
You have friends on planning board.
I know.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, if there's an emergency, you could say there's some type of an emergency, or if there's some type of general message for the public, it would be,
So right now, we put a big signboard in the road when we,
Yeah.
boating and water emergencies. And
Trout.
There's a signboard out there anyway.
yeah, it just sits in the road, right? And it's big and ugly.
Enough parking
And
spots.
this would be a 4x6.
seems like common sense. So let's see how it goes.
Every new firehouse you drive by.
When's the meeting?
People like the 50s in Greenfield.
The third?
I'll send you.
Send us the meeting, send it.
They're like modern.
Yeah. It's the planning board meeting you're going to?
Yes.
Okay.
We just
7?
We just don't want, is it the 7th? We just don't want to encourage this to be, all over the place and turn into Las Vegas, but obviously public safety, I think this is where you could write into the zoning, like exceptions made for public safety.
Maybe
Planning at 8.
some of the commissioners could write a letter.
But we're funding it out of different sources within the department. We're gonna lease it because we can't afford it right out. We'll lease it for 3 years and then own it at the end of it. It'll be a huge asset.
Seems like common sense, so we'll help support you on that.
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody write a letter to planner.
I don't think we need to go in executive session. Do any of the commissioners feel we need to go into an executive session?
Negative.
Great. All right. May I have the great motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, chief. We're all set.
I don't even know why we have to ask if everybody approves. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say, no, I don't approve.
I have.
Have you really?
I have.
Oh, my Lord.
City council meeting.
Oh, well, we'll wait.
Absolutely, I've seen that.
You have to ask. It's a state thing.
Recording's still on here.
I think it was done.